All right, so as a reminder, we are reviewing Auth. We know how to do these things. We're going back over it, and we're going to do it in Node so we can really zero in on some concepts here. So we're working on creating users. We've identified we need to do something in the database, some with password hashing, some kind of front-endy thing, and we need some kind of route that handles this. Fair enough? All right, so all I have right now is this backend folder. While I'm at it, when I make a front-end folder, I'm going to hop into, let's see. And for anybody who's just coming in, don't follow along with this in code, just conceptually. All right, so I have an empty folder here. I'm going to npm init. I am going to install Express. While I'm at it, I'm also going to install cores and bcrypt and connects and pg. If you are not familiar with Node, npm is just gem, the exact same kind of thing. Express is the server library we're going to use. We know what cores is. Bcrypt works exactly the same way that bcrypt does in Ruby. And connects and PG are like active record for us. Okay, so I've got all that now. Now I'm going to make an index.js file. And I am going to open it. So I'll say that Express is the Express package. App is Express invoked. And I'm going to listen on 9,000. And let's go ahead and make like a like an index route. So when something comes in, I'm going to response dot send status 200. All right, ta-da! That's an Express app. So if I nodemon index.js, yep, install. Oh, I'll show you how npx works. So normally what I would do is install nodemon globally. In fact, I'm going to do that so that I can just run it like I could any other command in Unix. You can also install it locally, like that, and then go npx run nodemon. Does the same thing. Oop. Am I in the right folder? Yeah, fuck it. Oh, I need to tell it what module to do. No. All right, whatever. So that should be running on port 9000. If I pull up Postman and hit 9000, everybody's having a Monday. Of course I don't. Fuck it. How about maybe just don't sign me in? I don't care. Later, background. Holy shit. like that. All right, hey. I don't think I'm signed in, but I don't give a shit. All right, localhost 9,000. Cool, and I got a 200 back. So that's set up. Now what I want to do is I have a post route for users. That response.json's back something like ID1, we'll say username, Kyle Coberly, yeah, something like that. So if I change that to a post request to users, I get that back. Now, working backwards, the goal is just to make that real. So let's start making a database connection here. I'm going to connects init. Install g connects. Connects init, makes a connects file. Sweet. Then I'm going to create db. Give me what's this app? Give me a name. Whiteboard. Cool. So I've made a whiteboard database locally. I can pSQL into it. Show me all the tables. Don't have any. Sick. So if I go over to that connects file that was made, I just need to make it so that it can connect to that. Which I'm going to say the client is not SQLite 3, client is PG. The connection is not an object, it's a string. That's Postgres, 3 slashes, whiteboard. And that should do her. So if I connects, migrate, make, create users table. All right, we're in business. I go over to that migration, just like active record. So on the way up, I'm going to say connects.schema.create table. Table and table.increments. That's going to be our auto incrementing ID. And then our, so we had a username. So we'll say string username. We also want one for password digest. And is that it? Yeah. And then on the way down, you might not remember this from the lessons because they were a long time ago, but you have that. I think it's change. That's just up and down together. There's no such thing in connects. You have to write your ups and downs separately. But change is delightful. We'll say drop table if exists. Oops, I also got to give it a name. User. I have a distinct preference for singular table names. Active record doesn't allow that. So if I'm not using active record, I'll name my tables how I want. So I make them singular, but it's because I don't have a convention that I have to follow. All right, I run that migration. Awesome, it's in. So now I need to make a connection to that database that my app can use. I'm going to call that database connection.js. And how that works is we're going to module.exports. I'll break this into two. our database configuration, which we're going to get from that connects file. This is just an object, so I need either whatever the environment is set to or the development key. So I'm going to set that to require connects file at process.env node.env. That's a variable that gets set by things like Heroku to production, for example. So you have your development connection information, your production connection information. You can just go back and forth between them. It's pretty cool. And or if that's not set, default to development. And then we need to require in connects. And then module.exports connects at config. So that's the database connection that the app can use. If I pull that in, we'll call this database equals require database connection. Cool. So now, when I'm creating a user, I should be able to take the stuff that comes in from the request and like run a query. Like database user. So I'm going to make this. Fuck it. Database.user.insert might do something like username is request dot body dot username password digest. We're just going to do plain text password first. Cool. Since nothing comes for free in this fucking life with Node, we need to tell it how to parse request bodies. So I'll say, oh shit, I haven't programmed in weeks. It's body parser. A const body parser equals require body dash parser, and then app.use body parser.json. All right. And then once that's done, connect queries always come back as arrays. We want to respond with users at 0. So we bring back the singular. All right, this should work.
Just out of curiosity,
Yes.
will it always be 0?
Yeah, because only one thing should ever come back from it. Oh, I need to tell it what to return to. Forgot. Returning ID and username. All right. So if I go over to the body and say, I am sending you raw JSON with a username of Kyle Coberly and a password of nice triasshole. And then since this is JSON, I need to double quote the keys. All right, I should see the user that I create come back. Yeah, ID1, username cock overly. If I try to make one for Toby, there's Toby. All right, so we're wired up to a database. This part's done. Need a front end. We have the route. Need to handle password hashing. So I always forget the API for bcrypt, so let's take a look. So I want to take that password they give me and then hash it. And then put that in the database. Cool. So I do bcrypt.hash, give it the password, say how many salt rounds I want, and then I get this back. I'm almost positive this works with promises too. Yeah, dope. So I want this. Bcrypt.hash, plain text, salt rounds, and then I get my hash back in the promise handler. So let's pull in bcrypt. And I do bcrypt.hash, and I'm hashing rec.body, the password. I get back the hashed password. And then how's about I just take this database call and instead of this, give it the hashed p word. All right, so we hash the password. We take the hashed password. We use that as part of this database insert. We take the thing that comes back from it. Oop, one more thing. Then I take the users that I get back and respond with them. Just so we can see, I want to make sure the password hash is actually happening. So I'll say password, give me back the password digest also. If I do that right, oop, didn't like something. Syntax error, syntax error. You're a syntax error. Okay, good, good. You see it, shout it out. Okay, where does that close? That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Anybody spot it yet? Oh, is it? This also needs the salt rounds. And it's not the trailing comma. I thought that also maybe. Maybe it just needs the salt rounds. Yep, that was it. Cool. It's a hash password.
Why did you put 10 for the salt rounds?
That's a good question. So, what's salt?
I want to say that's where it's been a while.
It is. So let's go back to Kyle's shitty hashing algorithm, where cat becomes 3, 1, let's say that's 17. And then I turn that into 21, and I turn that into 3, just by summing these together till I get to 1 digit. That's my crappy hashing algorithm. What's the problem with this? You can never go backwards with hashing. That's the point of hashing. If I have your hash password, I can't recreate your password. What sucks about this? The hash of cat is 3.
Other things equal 3?
Like, obviously, C would also have the same hash to it. Yikes. So, we can, one of the ways that we make things more distinct is by having our salts generated in a more complicated way. The trade-off is that the more complicated they are, the slower they are to calculate in both directions. And so 10 has been the default for a long time. I see most people using 12 now, actually. You're basically keeping up with how fast are crackers' computers. So as they get faster, like presumably your users' computers also get faster, so there's less of a user experience hit by salting more. But that's what's going on with that. And you can see how many salt rounds there were right there. The version of the hashing algorithm that was used was 2B. They did 10 rounds of salt, and then that's the thing. And you might remember that we take the password they give us, we set the salt at the beginning, I think, of that. We hash all of that together, and that means if my password is cat and your password is cat, but we have different salts, we end up with completely different hashes. Cool. So we've done. Backend is in pretty good shape at this point. If I wanted to front end something real quick, touch index or app.js and light server it and light server it. Doc type, HTML, head, body. So I want something that does user sign up. What do we call this? Whiteboard? Add a char set. So I want a form. I can put that inside there. Sign up. And it's going to have an input with type, text, name, username, and placeholder username. Do the same thing for password. And yeah. Cool. And I don't know if you guys realized you could do this. You can. You don't have to have separate style sheets. We can just write our CSS in here. Ugh. Cool. All right, glorious. So let's head over to that app.js. I'm going to grab the form document.query selector form. I'm going to attach an event listener to it. Whenever this is submitted, what do I do? Let's prevent the default. Cool. And then I'm going to fetch over to localhost 9,000 users. It's a post. Good. What's the header that I need to have? Yeah. See, you guys know. Didn't even need this. Cool. And then for the body, JSON.stringify. And then I need to grab those. How do I grab username and password out? Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you remember this from our lesson on this. You can also do, like, this also does that. And it's part of what makes it so goddamn confusing. There's no good reason that that should be the case. It's not like the calling context or stupid. All right. Username equals form data get username. Password is the same. And then whenever this is done, we get the user back. Let's have like a message or something. Message. Let's also grab that. And I also, what do I call it? User sign up. I like that better. And then when this successfully comes back, P's inner text get set to successfully created user user.username. All right, but that works. Ooh, one other thing I need to do. Anybody know? Think to yourself for a sec, why is this going to fail? It's not because I wrote the code wrong, I don't think. It's a super important thing. This happens to you all the time. It has to do with something I didn't do on my back end. It's going to be real mad if I try to post to it.
Set up a route.
Routes are there. Stuff's generally wired up correctly. It's missing something though, missing something important.
Course.
Hold on.
I had that problem recently.
We all have this problem.
The other problem I had was not invoking it.
That'll happen. Okay, let's see if it works. So I say Kyle, password is Kyle. Uh-oh. Network error. Well, I don't like that at all. Yep. Why is that not firing off though? On app.js 11, nope, it's users. And it should be on 9,000. Yep. Okay. Oh, I absolutely do. Good call. That would explain why no actual network request went out. Okay, so I have to do Kyle, and successfully created an undefined user. All right. So let's take a sneak peek at what's actually happening on the back end. So I try to do that again. What happens on the back end? Ah! Oh, all right, so that's an array. I'm bringing back that. That's good.
Because we forgot to do the JSON parse.
That's exactly what happened. It's Monday for everyone. I haven't programmed in a very long time. All right, and so cool. Successfully created Toby. Although I probably don't want you all to see Toby's password, so we can change that to type password. And now Seth. Ho! All right, we have successfully done step 1 of Auth. What questions have you? Yeah, it is pretty clear. So what do I have to do for this next part? How do I find out whether somebody is who they say they are and give them a token? Mm-hmm. So need to get the user. You don't need to rehash it. You need to compare hashes. Subtle distinction. Get there in a sec. Then what? Then I need to encode encode a jot and give it back to him. All right, dope. And then the front end of that. Let me do that first. So I'll say there's also a user login. Same thing. Then over here, do basically the same shit. So I'm going to call that sign up. And I'm also going to grab, what do I call this, user login. Call this sign up message. I call this login message. Call this login message, and login's the name of that. Okay, otherwise works the same way. This time we're going to post to login. Same stuff though. It's token user dot token. I'll just say yeah. All right, cool. So, ta-da, front end's done. Nothing special there. Getting a username and password out of a form, posting it to a route on the back end. Now that route needs to exist. So I can do app post login request response. All right, so Samantha pointed out, first thing I have to do is what? Yep. Is the user they're sending me that real? So I could say something like database users where username is request rec.body username first. Good call. Thank you. All right, so I get that user out. And now if there's no user, then let's short circuit. Response.status 401. And then JSON back, some error. No user by that name. Cool. Elsewise, what do we do next? Compare. So there's I mentioned that you don't have to like actually do the hashing yourself, and like kind of shouldn't. We have this compare function that handles all that for us. We give it the plain text and then the hash, and we get true or false back. So I can do bcrypt compare. The plain text is rec.body password with user.password digest and return it. So we'll call that like is authenticated. So if they're authenticated, I'll say if they're not, then we could same thing. Elsewise, what do we do? Jot me up, baby. Cool. So first thing I need to do is I need to install JSON Web Token. also forget the API for that often. JSON web token npm. All right, so this. Got it. Jot.sign, you give it an object, and then you give it a key. A key. I'm speaking Spanish. Remember that commercial from like 1994?
Yes.
A key. I'm speaking Spanish. So I'm going to jot.sign the user, and we'll sign him with a secret. That is an asynchronous operation, I'm almost positive. Let's see, does it promise? Ooh, it doesn't. Holy shit, doesn't look like it promises. Yikes. In that case, we need to give it a callback. And so we will response.status 200 and JSON back the token. Cool. But that works. Let's see. Did anything crash while I was doing that? Nope. All right, so I sign up. I make a Sam. All right, cool. Now if I try to log in with Sam and Sam, let's see what happens. All right, didn't like something. Let's see what it was. User not defined. Ah, I see. Even if you send the status back, it keeps going. So we need the same thing here. Ah, and it this user that I'm trying to send back here. Can anybody tell me the scoping problem that I'm going to have with this?
You're returning encrypt.compare
Mhm.
in that first bin promise.
Yep.
So that's now the is authenticated.
Correct. And so yeah, this user, that existed in this scope, doesn't exist in this scope. So the trick for this, which is kind of ugly, and it's one of the reasons people don't super love promises, is we do this entire .then off of the compare directly to keep it in scope. Like that. Still works. A promise chain is also a promise. And now this is in scope. But the whole point of promises is they're supposed to get away from this pyramid of doom shit. All right. Cool. Sam and Sam. All right, hung again. Secret's not defined. That's more reasonable. So I'm going to say that secret is shut up. All right. Hey, I got a 200 back with a null token. Progress. Okay. Sign asynchronously. Ah, I see. This is a thing, if you do like a significant amount of node work, you should know that the node things that aren't express do what are called error first callbacks. The first argument in one of these callbacks is always an error, and so you do like a little check up front to see whether or not it's null, or if it's not null, that means there was an error. All the meaningful shit happens after. All right, I got a 200 back, and hey, that looks like a fucking token. And if I decode this here jot, then it has no payload. Getting there, baby steps. So the thing that I want to pass in is the first argument. Should be an object. Yeah, should be fine. So let's take a look at what user actually is. That sure as shit looks like a user to me. User secret token. There we go. Hey, I got that user. Now we could do something like stuff that in local storage, check for it, all kinds of cool shit. But I have validated verified who somebody is, and I successfully logged in on the wrong message box. Login message, enter text. Huh. Sign up message. Ah, I see why. Sign up message, login message. All right, now when Sam logs in, pew! So we have done all these things. What questions have you?
Putting in local storage.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, like, do you just call that, I guess, variable if you need to check for data on every page?
Better way to do that with like an SPA is through a service. So you have a login service that any component can see. It's still, even in React, like doing exactly this. Do local storage dot set token. Ta-da. And now we could do something like class is logged in. And then over here, document.query selector is logged in. And then on load, we do something like yeah. Yeah. We'll say token is local storage dot get token, and then if there's a token, then is logged in. Oh, do it this way. Is logged in text content. If there's a token, all right, so now when we log in, we're setting that token in local storage, and then whenever this page loads, like this part also runs, looks to see if there's a token, and if there is, we set is logged in text content to whatever. So oop, I should see something there. Is logged in. Dot is logged in. Is logged in. Did that part wrong. It's get item and set item. Cool, not logged in. I do Sam, and refresh. I'm logged in. Ta-da, I can refresh all I want.
So that's why you want to do it in local storage for just state.
Yeah, because you don't want it to be around for the lifetime of the app. You want it to be around for the lifetime of the browser session. We can even do a logout. Check out how logout works. So I make a form, except this one, it's only going to have the submit button. We'll say this is logout. How do you think logout works? Just delete the thing out of local storage. It's literally it. So I'll grab logout, and then logout, add event listener, submit. Still need to prevent default, but otherwise I local storage dot clear item, local storage clear item, remove item. All right, back over here. You goddamn right, there's my token. I log out and refresh, and I'm not logged in anymore. It's actually that easy. All right, I know we're super late, but this last one's kind of quick. Want to do this? All right. It's enough for me. What do I need to do when I'm protecting resources?
Check the token.
That's it. You can also check its expiration date or make sure that here's like a really easy trap to fall into, that the person who's logged in is allowed to do the thing they're doing. For example, like, all right, well, user needs to be logged in to edit their post on this blog. It's pretty reasonable. Are they allowed to edit anybody's posts? Is their user ID the same as the ID that created it? Like, you need to come up with the rules for that. All right, so protecting resources. What do I need to do? Check token. Yep, that's kind of it. So I'm going to make a, let's make a route. Let's make this index route. Let's make this secret. Secrets. So I'm going to use my jot thing again. Yep. And there's a method called verify. Verify takes in the token, the secret, and then has this callback. So we'll do jot.verify. Takes in rec.body.token and the secret, error, and then it gives back the decoded token. Which is also nice because that saves us a trip to the database to like look up the user. And all right, so with this, I'm gonna go if error status 401, and I'm gonna send back message, nice try, asshole. Otherwise, verify the jot. If some problem with that, elsewise, yeah. So for the front end, let's say we're going to make a button, the class of get secret message. And right below it, some of the class of secret message. Over here, secret message, get secret message, so I listen for get secret messages click, and when I do that, I do a fetch to localhost 9000, just the index route. And when it comes back, actually not going to immediately parse the response. I'm going to, well, depends. I can't remember if a 401 comes back as a catch or not. Let's see. So we'll take the response and then make whatever it was, secret messages, text content equal to response.message. All right, so right now I am not logged in. If I try to get the secret message, hey, rude. And then if I log in, all right, I'm successfully logged in, and try to get the secret message. Oops, still didn't like it. Oh, anybody know why? It's important. I didn't send the token. There's also one other thing I need to do. So, I could send this in the body. I think that's how I'm expecting it right now. Yeah, so right now I'm looking for it in the body. That works. We can do it that way. That's not a killer way to do it, though. So we'll say that the body is json.stringify token and token. Cool. All right, what now? So I'm logged in, I get the secret message, response is not defined. Get request cannot have a body. That's kind of the problem. So instead of sending it in the body, what I'm going to do is what? Where do I want to send it instead of the body? Headers. Which header in particular? Should be authentication, but it's actually authorization. It's a very bad use of that word. And yeah, we're going to say it's a bearer token. So then, on the back end, we need to like extract that out. So we'll say the token is request.headers.authorization .split on space number 1. And that should be it. Yeah. Way to go. Now I log out, deletes my thing, get the secret message. Nice try, asshole. Not logged in. Sam, pew, successfully logged in. Get the secret message. Ta-da. And so we have checked the token. We did all 3 steps. One other thing that I'm going to skip this actually. What I was going to say is that in Node, and really like this would also work in Sinatra and anything like this. Cool, except now every single route we need to protect, we need to do this entire process. So the trick to that is you put all of that into a middleware function and put it in between every route you want to call. So what that looks like.
Like in Rails, you put it in like the application controller.
Exactly. So every like controller that inherits from that can see it. And you have those methods available. The more like functional way to handle that is like this. So I have this authentication controller here that does like a slightly more robust version of the things we just did. But it's looking for the headers. If no headers are set, then it's definitely not logged in. So we do all these things, but really it's just another request response thing. And then anytime a route needs to be authenticated, you just put that before the one you actually want to use. That's like a node specific thing though. Awesome. So there's your auth review. What questions do you have?
If you have like certain roles for users, for instance, obviously popular is administration versus just regular end user.
Right.
Is it better to put those roles within the token header so you can verify, or do you want to put it like in the back end?
It's totally legit to put that in the token. Why? If it's in the token is just encoded. It's not even encrypted. So what keeps me from changing mine from user to admin?
That's the way jobs work. You can mess with it, it won't hash.
The signature won't match. You can tell that it was tampered with. So as much as you trust your encryption key, like you can trust that anything in the jot wasn't modified. So something like that prevents you from having to go through the user database and like checking their role there or something like that. What else? Something to be careful of though, and this is like the other side of that. All right, I know this wasn't tampered with. This person has a token that says they're an admin. I don't know, did they just rage quit the company though? This is the thing that people don't like about jots. Sessions kind of get around this, is if you have a valid jot, you have a valid jot. You look at how I'm protecting that route. All right, cool. Does this check out? It does. So therefore, I trust everything in it. If they just quit, I just deleted their user, whatever, doesn't matter. You go, okay, cool. Well, that just means that we look into the database. All right, well, we're losing some of the benefit of jots now, but okay. And you go, okay, I need a way to blacklist tokens. So like, all right, I know that I issued this token, it's no longer valid. Okay, so now you have a database that's keeping track of blacklisted tokens. That sounds an awful fucking lot like sessions. So all these things have trade-offs, but by and large, you can trust at a minimum, the stuff in your tokens weren't tampered with because they have signatures. And like the traditional way to work around those limitations is to have really short expiration dates. And so when a token expires, which might be every day, every couple hours or something like that, you just refresh it and generate a new one given that one.
How do you set expiration on token? Just is it in your documentation?
Yeah, it's one of the things that when you're signing the token.
Put it in
Exactly.
for like 2 days, 10 hours, 5 minutes, whatever.
Exactly. So like, I'm signing this user here. You can also, like, as part of this signing process, set all that stuff. Let's see. So it's IAT, or no, IAT is issued at time. EXP is the expiration. Yeah, so you set the expires in thing on the token as part of these options. Cool, what else? Yeah, there it is. All right, go authenticate some shit.